Okay, so let's look at Chapter 9, Section 1's work real fast. So we have a normal spreadsheet. We've got, not spreadsheet, I'm sorry, a supply and demand graph. We have, this is for unskilled labor in H-Town, okay? So here's our hourly wages, and we can see that on our y-axis. And then here's our number of workers supplied, that's on our x-axis. So at $4, it's 14,000, okay? And I realize this is not the easiest thing to do with DocHub, but so at $4 we've got 14,000, so there's 4, there's 14. All right, now the nice thing about DocHub though is you can do this. So at 16 it's 2,000, so boom, there's our supply, okay, I'm sorry, our demand. All right, but remember you've got to label it, okay? So this is my demand, label it, okay? And then we want to do the same thing for our supply side graph. So I'm going to change the colors this time. So come over here, select line. I'm going to make this one orange. So at $4 we have 2,000 people that are supplied, and then it goes to 14 at $16. So there's $16. And then there is, where's 14,000? There it is. All right, boom. So there we have it intersecting. So we know that that's going to be the equilibrium. Okay. Don't forget, as I almost did, to label it. So this is supply. Boom. Okay. So if we look at it, it says use the information in the table to draw the supply and demand curves for this labor market on the following grid, which we've done. Use the wage rate and the number of workers, label it D1, use the wage rates, and then the number of workers supplied to plot the curve for the supply curve. So there we go. There's D1, S1. Although something isn't right. All right. This is supposed to be up there. There we go. Now it's correct. Okay. The equilibrium wage for unskilled labor in H-Town, there's two ways to look at this. Like, for one thing, where these two numbers equal each other, supply and demand, we know that that's what it is, right? So it's $10, and then graphically where the supply and demand intersect each other, it also is $10. So you would put 10 bucks in here, okay? Boom, that's my dollar sign. I know it looks terrible. The equilibrium quantity, remember, so you just look at your equilibrium, boom, then go down. So it's 8,000. Don't put 8 workers, because if you do that, you got it wrong. So it's 8,000. All right. Many community leaders make passionate speeches before the city council on behalf of the low-wage workers in H-Town. The community leaders maintain that the way to help low-wage workers is to raise the minimum wage. Due to the hard work and persuasive speeches, the city council of H-Town passes a law that sets the minimum wage at $15 an hour. Low-wage workers celebrate at the prospect of earning $15 an hour. It says use the above information to respond to question 4. Illustrate the minimum wage by drawing a horizontal line at $15 on the graph. So you come back up here, and I'm going to change this number, or this color again. I'll make it green, okay? And then we're going to select our line, and we want to look at $15, which is right here. Make that go across. Boom. All right. So that's our wage floor. Okay. It does not say that you have to label it, so you don't have to. Okay, now it says the quantity demanded at the minimum wage is how many workers. So we're looking at demand. So here's demand. That's where they intersect right there. 3, but it's not 3, it's 3,000. Don't forget that, okay? So we can, obviously if you don't want to draw this out because it's like freaking you out because it looks terrible, and it does, don't do it. You can add a text box. I have no problem with that. So there's 3,000. All right. What's the quantity supplied at the minimum wage? Well, if we come back up here, that's my supply. That's where the floor intersects. We come down, it's 13,000. Okay. I'm going to try out my new pen, see if it works any better. So 1. Oh yeah, much better. Well, I would say it's much, much better, but you guys know my handwriting. It's not very good anyways. All right, the government of H-Town intends to help low-wage workers by setting the minimum wage at $15 an hour, but instead has created a what? Okay, well, you guys can answer this stuff. You already know the answer to these things. You've done this before, okay? Which is, if it's above equilibrium, what is that? You know what it is. It's a surplus, right? So what we'll do here is we will put in the word surplus. Okay, and then how many are there? We just figured this out by taking this number, 13,000, and subtracting it from 3,000. And so there is a surplus of 10,000 workers, which is a lot, you guys. That's 10,000 people that are unemployed. Now, because these people are looking for work but cannot find it, they are considered to be unemployed. Okay? Unemployed. All right, setting the minimum wage at $7.50 an hour had the blank of creating an unemployment problem in H-Town. So what it's asking you is, see how it says, for one thing, this says $7.50, right? That is not what it's supposed to say. That is supposed to say what it was, which is $15 an hour. And I am not exactly, whoops, whoa, what is going on there? I am not exactly sure why it didn't update. I don't know why I didn't update my numbers like I asked it to. Okay? Because I set this in at $15. So it's $15 an hour. That's what it's supposed to say. And I'm not going to do the dollar sign because it's right there. What do we call any time that the government does something and it has an effect that they were not expecting or anticipating? That is correct. It is unintended consequence. Very good. Excellent job. Okay, so you put in there unintended